Welcome to the Nexus Grant Application Information Session. The Nexus Grant is a program of the Economic Development Department's Cultural Arts Division. The Economic Development Department oversees initiatives to assist the development of creative industries in Austin and support the community's unique cultural identity and vitality. This information session will provide details about the Nexus Grant. The grant is funded through the hotel occupancy tax. All grants funded with the hotel occupancy tax revenue are required to culminate in public activities that are open and advertised to Austin residents, visitors, and tourists, promote and enhance the city of Austin as a cultural destination, and occur in Austin or its extraterritorial jurisdiction. During this webinar, we will review the Nexus program highlights, applicant eligibility, funding priorities, eligible activities and expenses, scoring rubric, a summary timeline of the application cycle, and information on how to apply and receive additional application assistance. The Nexus program is designed to nurture new and emerging applicants in Austin's creative community. Funds support creative public activities for the city and its tourists through the community-centered arts activities and collaborations. This program funds community-centered art projects of all kinds. Nexus will prioritize applicants who are new to city funding, particularly those who've been at immediate risk of cultural erasure and displacement within Austin and/or have been institutionally marginalized. To be eligible to apply for this funding opportunity, applicants must be a 501c nonprofit arts organization, individual artist over the age of 18, or a creative business with an annual expenses of $150,000 or less, be headquartered in the Austin Metropolitan Statistical Area, or MSA, have a minimum of 1 year of creative production in Austin. Proposed activities must be compliant with the Hotel Occupancy Tax, or HOT statute. HOT funded activities are required to be open and advertised to Austin residents and tourists, promote and enhance Austin as a cultural destination, and occur in Austin and its extraterritorial jurisdictions, or ETJ. Applicants may not receive Nexus funds if they are already receiving city support through other City of Austin grants for the proposed program in their Nexus application. This includes awardees from the previous Fall-Winter Nexus grant cycle or who currently hold contracts through the Elevate, Thrive, or Live Music Fund grant programs. Individual artists and creative businesses may apply directly or with a fiscal sponsor. Please note the City of Austin employees are not eligible to apply for grant funding through the Economic Development Department. If you are applying with a fiscal sponsor, you must secure your fiscal sponsor before starting your application. You will not be able to change your application to include a fiscal sponsor after it is submitted. The fiscal sponsor will create the application on behalf of the sponsored project. Once the fiscal sponsor creates the application, they can invite the sponsored project as a collaborator to edit narrative responses. The fiscal sponsor and sponsored project must complete and sign the sponsorship agreement. This should be uploaded as a required document. Fiscal sponsorship fees cannot exceed 10% of the award amount. The fiscal sponsor must hit the submit button on behalf of the sponsored project to submit the application. Please see the Long Center or Create Austin's Guide to Using Fiscal Sponsors for more information about applying with a fiscal sponsor. The Nexus Grant prioritizes applicants who have never received City of Austin Cultural Funding awards in the last 5 years, applicants that serve key constituencies that are at immediate risk of cultural erasure and displacement and other forms of institutional marginalization. This includes those who represent the diverse cultures of Austin, particularly those who are from backgrounds that have been historically underrepresented in Austin's cultural funding programs, projects that invest in local artists, and community-centered art projects of all kinds. To better understand the second funding priority, it's important to understand the definition of key constituencies. Key constituencies are the people deeply impacted by your work, which may include your audience, community members, and/or participating artists and administrators. These key constituencies are identified and named by the applicant. For the purposes of this program, key constituencies that will be prioritized are community groups that are at immediate risk of cultural erasure and displacement within Austin, and/or have been institutionally marginalized and underfunded by the City of Austin's Cultural Arts Division. Any reference to key constituencies in a program application and scoring rubric will be referring to the community groups that meet this definition and that has been directly identified by the applicant. This may refer to Black, African American, Native American, Asian, Hispanic, Latino, Middle Eastern and Pacific Islander, the LGBTQIA, and disability communities. Note that audience served is not the same as key constituencies, as the audience served may or may not include communities that are at risk of cultural erasure and displacement within Austin and/or have been institutionally marginalized. If you discover additional terms that you are not familiar with, please reference the additional program details document, which has a glossary of terms, or reach out to a cultural funding staff member. The Nexus grant can be used to fund a variety of public activities. Eligible activities include exhibitions, for example, visual arts showcases, film screenings and festivals, or panel discussions relating to arts and culture. Performances, for example, theatrical productions, dance performances, spoken word events, and live music performances. Arts and culture-related workshops, classes, and camps that culminate in a public performance or exhibition. Public art projects installed on public or private property, accessible to all. Ticketed events are welcome as long as tickets can be purchased by the general public. Activities that are not eligible for the grant include activities occurring outside of the Austin 10-1 council districts or Austin's ETJs. For example, events occurring at venues located in Cedar Park, Round Rock, or Georgetown, as well as other Central Texas cities besides Austin, would not be eligible. Activities that are not accessible to tourists, like performances in public school assemblies or private members-only events, would not be eligible. Fundraisers, benefits, or activities offered for the sole purpose of raising money in excess of the value of programs or services delivered. Proposals that do not include a public event, for example, proposals to purchase equipment, or activities like filming and editing without a public presentation component are not allowed. Activities that occur outside of the contract period of June 1, 2024 through September 30th of 2024. Please note that this is not an exhaustive list of ineligible activities. Please review the additional program details on our website for more information on acceptable uses of these grant funds. Applicants may request $5,000. There is no matching requirement at this time. If awarded, applicants can choose to decline any portion of the funds they don't need. Applicants will fill out a project budget as part of their application, demonstrating how they will use the funds. We strongly encourage applicants to pay all who work on the project an equitable wage. Eligible project costs include payments to people, including project administrators and artists, venue and space rental, marketing expenses, equipment rental, insurance, and most production-related expenses for public events. Ineligible project costs include, but may not be limited to, donations or re-granting of grant funds. The purchase of equipment, however, equipment rental is allowed. Expenses paid more than 60 days before the start of the contract or after the end of the contract. Food and hospitality expenses must be pre-approved by city staff. Expenses related to starting a new business entity is not allowed, including registering your business as an LLC or applying to the IRS to become a 501c nonprofit. Please note that this is not an exhaustive list of ineligible expenses. Please review the additional program details for more information on accessible uses of the grant funds. The application rubric is comprised of a total of 100 points. The Nexus scoring criteria are first-time applicant, key constituencies and creative mission, cultural leadership, cultural activities, creative collaboration, accessibility, language accessibility, marketing, and budget. You can find the full scoring rubric and more information about these criteria in the program guidelines on our website. Applications will be reviewed and scored by an internal panel of city staff. Panels will not be available for public viewing. However, applicants may request reviewer comments afterwards and after awards have been announced. Applicants will only receive points that apply to their proposal based on the scoring rubric. We anticipate that most applications will not receive the maximum number of points available. Applications that meet the requirements outlined in the guidelines and receive the highest scores will be recommended for funding. The number of awards that are approved is subject to the availability of funds. We expect to award approximately 50 grants per cycle. The Nexus application opens Tuesday, April 16th at 10 a.m. Central Time. Applications will be due on Tuesday, May 14th by 7 p.m. via the online submittable application. City staff will review and score applications in May, and awards will be announced by May 31st. To apply, you must visit www.austintexas.gov/Nexus. On our website, you will find the Nexus guidelines and additional program details document, a preview of the application questions, the application link, instructions to get started on submittable, and information on how to get help. We are transitioning all grant applications to the submittable application platform. Applications submitted after May 14th, 2024 at 7 p.m. Central Time will not be accepted. Paper and emailed applications will not be accepted. We recommend that you draft all narrative question responses on your own separate document so that you can easily paste the answers into the online application. The Nexus application will have the following required document uploads. All applicants must provide the 3 work samples demonstrating the programs offered and/or the impact of the programs on their primary constituents. All sample materials provided should be concise and representative of the applicant's primary programming. Work samples might include bios of key artists and creative decision makers, artwork samples, promotional materials, programs, season brochures, newsletters, etc. Collages of representative material will be accepted as a single item of documentation. Links to video and audio clips should not be more than 5 minutes total. Panelists will be instructed to only review 5 minutes of video and audio samples. Website or social media pages. 501c applicants and fiscal sponsors are required to submit the organization's IRS determination letter, which indicates when the IRS approved the organization's 501c status. A copy of the most recently completed IRS Form 990. If the applicant has recently received their IRS nonprofit designation, please submit the most recently completed fiscal year financial statement. Applicants applying with a fiscal sponsor are required to also upload a complete and signed sponsorship agreement. If you would like help on your application, you can make an appointment with a cultural funding specialist for one-on-one application support. Sign up for one of our drop-in application assistance sessions with cultural funding staff. Join the cultural funding staff on an upcoming open office hours at 10 a.m. to noon every Tuesday through the application deadline. No appointment is needed for the open office hours. Open office hours will be available online and in person. Or request direct application support from Almost Real Things, or attend one of their application workshops. Our third-party administrators at the Long Center are available to provide technical assistance with the submittable application platform. Information for how to access these support opportunities can be found on our website. Thank you for your time and participation. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to contact any member of the cultural funding team or Almost Real Things staff. For technical support, please contact the Long Center, and you can find more information about this and other cultural arts division programs on austincreates.com. Good luck with your application.